Hey Shredders, it's my birthday today, so I figured it'd be a perfect opportunity to go and show you my 5 favorite exercises that I do as much as possible, even on my birthday. These exercises help build your foundation as a snowboarder while increasing your range of motion that's going to give you way more power. Very simple motions, very delicate, but the benefit they have to learning how to move your body and controlling the fear in your healthy range is really hard to even comprehend because it's just so useful. So the first thing I do is, I think it's called good mornings, and these are just really great because snowboarding uses a lot of hip, a lot of lower back, and a lot of hinging and like pulling through. So it's really good to go and get those muscles activated and strong. So for this, all you want to do is put your front foot forward, a little bit angled in towards the left, not much, but slight. Then you want to take your back foot and put around 10% weight on it, having your toes. Your stance should be pretty close like this. And this is where the motion is a little bit complex and a little bit nuanced. You want to go suck in your ribs, get completely tall and extended, and then just tilt your hips back, pulling your hips up into the air. And you should feel a pretty intense burn in your left side of your glute all the way through. And then we want to try flex it and pull it back up. This is a very slow, controlled motion and a very limited range of motion. We don't want to have anything like snap, pop, crackle. Just go, pull through, get that activation. If you want more activation, you can sink your weight slightly back towards the hips and just pull it through. You should feel like you have a string and you're lifting it up. This is going to elongate your muscles here while also going and strengthening them. And ever since I started doing it, my hip pain has been so much better. I haven't really had nearly as much lower back pain. So this is something I do every single day and I really love it. You only need to do like 2 to 5 on each leg. They really don't take much. You should feel it quite a bit after 3. I'm just doing it right now to demonstrate. We'll do a full follow along workout at some point, but these are just my favorite things that I like to do. So just up and over. Ideally you're doing this with your breath controlled, but I'm making a YouTube video right now, so exhale. We'll just do one more, but see, pushing the hips back, lifting it, trying to feel it all in that glutes, not adding more bend to the legs, just a nice little pivot. So what that's training is the ability to go and have your hips come out in this way. It's actually a really useful principle that we'll go and use for our next training. And I just like going and practicing my frontside and backside windups. So that means winding up and practicing for the spin and practicing the snap. When you're doing a frontside windup, it actually takes quite a bit of practice because you want to go close the shoulder, not so much that it's like closing off. You want to start and lead with your hips, fall off your core, fall off your chest, finish with your arms. If you try to throw a frontside spin all at once, it's going to be a really short movement. I do this on my cab where I'll come in and no matter how patient I am, because I'm throwing everything at once, I always end up in this overthrown position. So that's why we really want to take this off-season time to go and practice moving these body parts independently. So I come up, my snowboard stance, balls with feet. Oh, and this is actually really cool and really help my frontside spins. I'm preemptively setting my weight where I want on my heel edge. So toe edge, heel edge. See how small of a motion that is? This makes it so I can just go straight from toe edge, very little movement into my heel edge. And when I'm doing that, I'm pulling my arms back a little bit. So this pulling here, not so much that we're starting to close or this knees coming forward like this, because you're not going to be able to generate that much power, but just enough where your right hand is sort of towards your back leg here. And then I want you to practice going and moving the hips, moving the torso, moving the chest, finishing with the arms in this tall position. So it looks like this. I just practice this range of motion, regular and switch, just trying to get really comfy. I'll go and try to keep my core intense, flexed, and feel pretty sturdy burn going through it. You want to keep everything activated and tight as you move through these motions. So one more time, really slow, closed off, hips, chest, arms, while we extend, getting that nice posture, putting us sort of neutral over our board. And the most important part of this is probably making sure you have the right bend in your legs. If you're too tall, it's not going to really flow light and you won't be able to get it connected. So think about the position you want to leave off in your heel edge and try to enter that preemptively with the toe edge. And that little tilt in the hips I was talking about that we were training in the previous one, there we go. See how I just take a string, pull it here, and now my weight's over my heels so I can pop up and snap. I also do the same thing for the backside variant. So coming in for the backside spins and just practicing doing my wind up, snap, extension, pull. But there's one more thing that I've been adding to my training to this that has really helped me increase my range of motion, making these backside spins a lot easier. And that is, as I go and shift to my toe edge, to go and push out that back hip. So here's the difference. Before, when I was doing my backside spins, I was going like heel edge, toe edge, wind up, snap. And the issue with that is, as you're wind up here, you don't really have much range of motion in your hips. All of your rotations are really set and generated through your hips. That's your main power source when snowboarding. So if you're in this position, you don't really have too much hips. And no matter how straight you are, you're not going to really be able to get those hips to throw very much. But watch what happens when we go and push out this leg. Toe edge, push out. Now my hips are in this position, and look at how much more range of motion that has. Show it from the side, normal position, coming up, throwing, trying to throw the hips. It's sort of hurting my lower back, arcing, and it's going to make it so I have to throw like this. Now I go and push out, extend that back hip, and now I have all this range of motion to play with, letting me stay taller and throw on a lot more flat plane. And it's been such a game changer for me. Like, my snowboard backside takeoffs haven't felt better. So let's talk a little bit of how to train this and the kind of muscle motions you should be feeling. So first things first, we don't want to be extending it to the point that we're feeling a really big flex in our hip flexor and we're going and pushing it. That's not power. We need to make sure that our tendons are still within a comfortable range of motion so they can snap back elastic-like. So I'm coming in and I'm going to go and take my hips, rotate them forward and push out. It feels a lot like flexing your glutes. The only difference is you're trying to go and flex your back glute a little bit more while keeping your front glute a little bit softer. If we go and show it here, so I'm coming here, flexing and twisting. And it's really this emphasis on the lift more than the twist. So even though the result is getting the twist and more motion, we're just getting that by positioning our hips here and then lifting up the knee a little bit. So when you're closed off like this, twist it, push it. And that's going to do absolute wonders for your backside form because it's going to keep you taller, let you hold that edge, transition smoother, the whole 9 yards. And now let's combine that with just the backside wind-up training. So backside wind-ups are actually pretty interesting because instead of going and leading with the hips like front side, we're actually leading with the arms. So I like to go and just practice my backside form. So heel edge. I've been practicing getting better at putting my hand here, and this is going to make it so your hips are open towards the corner. Heel edge, shift to toes, extend, snap. And again, try and keep my core moving and tight. And now watch this. As I go and throw, I'm only putting my arms out to this length. I don't need to wind them up all the way like this. Anything that causes any concave, that's a no-go. We're trying to stay within a comfy range of motion. So coming up, comfy range of motion, extending that leg so I'm a little bit taller, and then you want to go and throw with your arms slowly, followed by your chest. And it's only after you go and really drive in your hips and try to get around. I'm really exaggerating this training because when you do like 1800s and stuff, you actually want to try overthrow your spins. So instead of being pointed downward, you're going all the way to the point where it's pointed upwards. So it's a really big motion, but still the same principles apply. So here, super low onto the heel edge, initially setting that edge, shifting over to the toes slightly as I get a little taller. As I go and stand up, I'm standing up and then I'm pushing that hip out that little extra bit to give me that bit more height and that bit more balance. And then I'm practicing throwing with the arms, the chest, the hips, extension. And again, I just practice those like 5 to 10 times a day, just trying to get used to that range of motion, used to that snap. And now the last exercise I use, and I find this one just so useful for landing, keeping your knees healthy, keeping your hips healthy, it's just the sumo squat, but I do it a little bit differently. So standard sumo squat, you just sumo squat down, but I'm more interested in getting that burn and building every like micro muscle. So what I like doing is sumo squat, keeping the chest very forward. Like here's how close my chest is to my knees. And what you want to do here is the more bend you have, the more your upper body comes down in correlation. Just like snowboarding. When we're snowboarding and we want to add bends in our legs, we have to go and let our upper body come down. Same principle with the sumo squat. The only difference is we're going to set our weight a little bit more to our heels, so we activate it more into our thighs and a bit more into our glutes. And then from here, I just like to go and shift down and add a little bit of rotation and twist to my hips. So I'm just in this position, stack position, adding a little bit of rotation, very smooth, trying to do it mostly throughout my glutes. What I find this does is just really strengthen the micro muscles around, help with knee rotation, help with hip rotation, all while going and building like that really strong landing foundation. That's going to be really important in snowboarding. If you want to go and get some good shoulders in alignment with it, I also just take my arms and pull them up forward. I have a lot of shoulder issues. I've had a broken collarbone, had serious dislocation problems for a while, and I find stuff like this really beneficial and really nice to start the day with. So just shifting, moving around. Yeah, I just sort of do it until it starts to burn, feel uncomfortable, and then I call it. And that all combined together is really just going to do a lot to build the flexibility in your hips, build the strength in your glutes and lower back, and then also help you go and learn that timing and muscle motions that you need for really powerful takeoffs that will really expand your range of motion. So give it a try. You don't need to rip it too much, but if you can do some of these exercises a few days a week, a few reps here and there, it's going to really help out your riding. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back with another video soon.